UK Crime Book Club. I am here with Lisa Hall to discuss. In fact, I'll let you introduce the book and introduce yourself, and I'll tag the members in who have asked to be tagged in.
Okay. Well, I'm Lisa Hall, and my book that I'm here to talk about is The Mysterious Double Death of Honey Black.
Love this book.
Me too.
So tell us a little bit about the previous books before we go into this one. Just because we do have people who read thrillers and other things as well as cozy. So let's plug the lot of them.
Oh, yay. Well, I've written 6 books before, and they're all psychological thrillers, and they're all standalone. And I've covered all kinds of horrible things like date rape and missing children and domestic violence. So all the things that give you bad dreams, basically.
Yeah.
They're all there.
So what made you switch to cozy for this one, and are there going to be more cozies?
Well, if I'm brutally honest, I didn't set out to write a cozy. We were talking a little bit before, and I said to you, I wasn't very well, and my agent told me to take the summer off, so I agreed. But then I watched this TV show about the Beverly Hills Hotel, and they mentioned the Paul Williams suite, and that it had been kept exactly as it was since it was redecorated by Paul Williams in 1948. So I kind of thought, well, what would happen if you went out and a really good night out? You woke up in the morning, you wouldn't know what year you're in, because obviously that's what you would think. And then the next morning I woke up and I just had this whole thing of like, there was going to be a movie star that was going to be murdered, and she knew it was going to happen, and she found herself back there and she had to stop it. And then I submitted it to my agent with the thought that she's probably going to put it in the bin, and she didn't. But then she changed a whole lot of stuff. She was like, this is really something, but I suppose it didn't really have a genre when the first draft was just a story. And then she is amazing, and we tightened it up, and then she was like, you've actually written a cozy crime novel. And I was like, oh, yay me.
Donna's saying, have I got new bookcases, or am I in a different room? Donna, I've been threatening to tidy my office and put the right bookcases in here for 2 years. I finally did it. I had a bit of a migraine yesterday, and I had loads of migraine energy, so I've just finally blitzed through. So I did wonder if anyone had noticed that it was actually kind of tidy for once.
The first thing that got noticed.
I know. Can't hide a thing from this lot with their eagle eyes. They pick up all these clues in crime books, and they just don't miss a thing. They don't miss a trick. So hello, Donna Morfitt. Why did you go with 70 Years Apart for the time hop, should we say?
I suppose that going back to 1949, that was quite a key time, because in 1948, the Beverly Hills was completely jazzed up, and Paul Williams came in and he was like, let's paint it pink, let's put banana leaf wallpaper on the walls, let's make it like a really jazzy place to stay. So I kind of wanted to keep it sort of close to that time, but there's also something about that time is quite fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It's a time when, to be honest, men were pretty bloody awful, and they were getting away with things that they shouldn't have gotten away with. I mean, I know they get away with stuff now, but there was lots of things that were hushed up, lots of scandals that people didn't talk about. So I was quite intrigued. I mean, the closer to the present day that you get, the more things seems to be talked about and exposed. So I really wanted to be in a time period where things weren't talked about and we wouldn't necessarily know about it. And then the research that I did, I found so many things, many scandals that just aren't talked about.
I think it was really interesting to see how Lily handled the situations, and Honey was quite taken aback by her. She really, I don't want to say any of the things that she did. If you think any of them wouldn't be spoilers, go right ahead. But
I think of the time, Lily has got a bit of a potty mouth, to be fair. She does drops her F-bombs a couple of times, and even the S word, I think, was like quite frowned upon. So Lily's got a 21st century mouth on her, which Honey did find that a little bit shocking. and Jean was horrified.
The first time she dropped an S word, Honey was really kind of shocked, but then also quite amused by her.
Yeah, I think Lily's got so many qualities that Honey wishes she could openly display.
Yeah.
And I love them both so much.
Yeah.
And they just really complemented each other. And I loved writing both of them because, like I say, Honey is very much a modern girl. She thinks she's a modern girl. And then Lily breezes in and it just disrupts everything with her F-bombs.
Did you, because obviously you didn't know that you'd written Cozy, but once you did know that, did you have to dial some things back after writing 6 thrillers?
It wasn't too bad because I think the initial story in the first couple of drafts, it was a little bit more focused on the romance, and I don't really want to say anything about the first draft that's going to give away stuff that happens in this one, because obviously I have changed things. So it wasn't really too bad because I wasn't writing a murder mystery or a thriller in my head. It wasn't too much to dial back. So it wasn't too bad.
I spent some time today looking at the hotel, kind of today, and there's old images, and oh, you must have had so much fun using all of that gorgeous detail.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. And I did go on a research trip to the Beverly
I'm going to ask you about that as well.
And it's just incredible. And there's so much stuff out there. I found this website from this guy called Martin Turnbull, and he seems to be like some sort of historian writer type guy. And he's got this website, and I don't even know what the website's called. I had it stuck up there for ages. But if you Google sort of old Hollywood Martin Turnbull, he's got this website, and some of the photos on there are incredible. He's got loads. I don't even know how he's got hold of them. They're amazing.
Leslie's asking, are you the Lisa Hall who wrote The Woman in the Woods?
That's me. Yeah. If you liked it, if you hated
it. Yeah, Leslie will tell you an honest opinion whether she did or not. We're kind of looking behind the scenes at I know we've touched on this a little bit, but the glitz and glamour, we all know it isn't quite like that. Excuse me. But you really get to show both sides of it, and through different eyes as well. So everyone's kind of seeing it in their own way, but we're really looking back at, not just looking back at how things were then. Even there was a part where Lily was kind of even a bit wrong-footed because she wasn't sure, should I be kind of pointing out that some of this is wrong, or is this just film set behaviour? Is this just a new environment I'm in, and it's just how things are? And it was interesting seeing her try and come to terms with what was right for the day and what was just completely wrong and what she needed to stand up for. You've written so well and gone into so much detail about it. It was really interesting to watch Lily kind of open up to that world and really find her feet again.
Yeah, I mean, it was really difficult because, like you say, so much was hushed up then. And if you found yourself back there, I found myself asking myself, if I was in Lily's shoes, what would I do? What would I think? And it was quite difficult because I think nowadays your instinct would be, especially given like the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, the thing that's all over Twitter at the moment about Danny Masterson, all of that stuff, it's kind of, dare I say it, it's a little bit easier today to actually point something and say, that's wrong, you can't behave like that, that's unacceptable, you did that to me and I'm not comfortable. Whereas back then it was not, women didn't have a voice really at all. So yeah, I did find that quite difficult to get the right balance for Lily.
We need to talk about the Hollywood trip because I saw a little bit in the bio and I was like, right, okay, I'm in, I want to know all about it. I'm going to live vicariously through you, Lisa.
Oh, it was incredible. It was so fluky as well, because obviously this book wasn't a psychological thriller. It was written out of contract. I didn't have a publisher lined up for it, so I really took a risk. And my friend's a travel agent, and she sent out an email, and she had this trip. It was sort of towards the end of lockdown. Things were starting to open up again, but America wasn't open, and she had this trip for 4 nights in Vegas, 4 nights in LA. And I was like, and it was ridiculous money. It was so cheap. And she was like, yeah, it's cheap because Trump won't let you in. And I was like, well, what happens if I can't go? And she was like, well, you can go a different time. But, I was like, I'm just going to do it. So we went out, we got to Hollywood, and straight away, I had a list of places that I wanted to visit because I'd already written the book. Yeah. So we went for dinner at Musso and Frank, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And that it still really has that old Hollywood feel, because it's been there for, I don't even know. I think it's like 100 years or something now. I stole a menu from there, so don't tell anyone, but I stole a menu from there because I needed.
I'm pretty sure somewhere like that is going to have extra menus because people are going to take them home. They might even have like a little count of whoever catches the most people without telling them that they know gets a free drink at the end of the night.
Well, someone won a prize from me that night. So we went there. Obviously, we went to the Beverly Hills, and I had called the hotel the week before. And I said, guys, this is the situation. I'm writing a book, and it's set in your hotel and in this suite. And I'd really, really love it if I could just peek my head in this suite. And they said, well, as long as no one's booked it, you can. It's not a problem. So I was stalking Booking.com for the whole week. Got to Hollywood. We were going to the Beverly Hills on the Saturday. On the Friday, someone booked in the suite.
No.
And I was gutted. But they let us look around the whole rest of the hotel. Like the Crystal Ballroom was like roped off, but when did a rope ever stop anyone? Come on. Definitely went there. So yeah, and we went for lunch in the Polo Lounge, and it was amazing to actually be in the place where at this point I think I was like 4 drafts in. So I'd spent a long time there in my head. So to actually be there was amazing.
Did you get to see everywhere else that you wanted to see apart from that room?
Yeah, we got to see everywhere else. So it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. And obviously then we were in Vegas, and I've just written the sequel to this one, and Lily Goes to Vegas. So it was worth the money.
If you can't hear that was my feet involuntarily tapping. I can't wait to see what happens to the next one. So can you say anything about that, or is it too early days yet? Do you know when it'll be out?
Bare bones. I can give you bare bones. I can tell you that it does involve Evelyn, and the gang are going to end up in Vegas with some not very pleasant characters.
Are you going to go back to Vegas?
I don't think I can afford to.
You have to get your mate to see what she can do.
Yeah,
she can find some kind of last minute thing that somebody's just desperately trying to sell off and make any money back on.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no if it came up. Put it that way. I wouldn't say no at all.
Leslie was saying that she enjoyed the Woman in the Woods.
Oh, thank you.
And Leslie is one of the she's not hard to please. She knows what she likes, and she's constructively honest about it. She's never mean, never rude, but she's like really good at telling you what she thinks works, what doesn't. She's been invaluable to me and so many other people. She's amazing. So that is high praise indeed.
Oh, thank you, Leslie.
She said, which is your most popular book with readers? Do you know?
I think it's still Between You and Me. That's the one that I get the most comments about, the most emails.
I know this one was kind of, the pressure was off a little bit because you're out of contract with it and you're supposed to be having a break, and clearly you're not meant to have a break. Is there anything else kind of lurking somewhere that you've kind of put to one side?
Well, while I was writing this one, I was writing another psychological thriller, which is out on the 10th of October. It's called The Day She Disappeared. So I was kind of writing the 2 books at the same time. And, you know, I'd finish the draft of Honey and send it to my agent. And then I'd work on the next draft of The Day She Disappeared. And then I'd send that to my agent and she'd send Honey back. So we spent I kind of disappeared for about 2 years because I was just writing both of these books. So now I feel like everything's out there. I've got the sequel to Honey is out next year. And I've got another psychological thriller like bubbling away, ready to get started for the other publisher. So everything's out now.
So how many books are you doing a year at the minute? Are you on 2 books a year now with one with each publisher?
Yeah.
Is that a lot more difficult to manage, or is it just kind of another day at the office once you get into your stride?
It's not too bad. It's actually not too bad. I was a little bit scared at first because the books both went out on submission at the same time. And they sold within sort of 2 or 3 weeks of each other. And then we had to liaise everyone together to say, right, when is the pub date for this? When is this round of edits got to be back for this? And everyone kind of had to liaise together. But luckily, I've got 2 brilliant publishers that really are so flexible and so lovely to work with. So now it's just a case of I kind of had to be a bit strict and say, okay, well, I need to work on edits for the Evelyn book now, so that has to go on the back burner for a minute. So it is constant work, but it's kind of one book then the other.
Yeah, so it's not like you're switching between, you're not doing a morning on one and an afternoon on the other. You have got very definite different days that you work on them.
Yeah, I try not to do that because once you're in the zone, you're kind of in the zone, especially not so much with the first draft, I find, but with edits, I do get in the zone. And the thing is, I loved being in Hollywood so much that I'm actually loving editing the second one because I'm back and it feels like I'm with my friends, even though they're imaginary.
That's all right. You can kind of pick and choose what works and what doesn't with your imaginary friends.
Exactly. I think that's why I like it.
Did you have to consider having the books under different names?
There was a point when my agent said I did need to consider it.
Right.
And I was just so happy that she loved it enough to think that she could sell it. I was more than happy to try a different name, as long as someone leaked that it was actually me.
I know there's an author that she's actually under Canelo, which is, sisterhood with Hero.
They're the parent of Hero.
And it was really interesting to see initially she had to juggle 2 different kind of names, 2 different social media accounts. And then I think it was a bit of a sigh of relief once everyone realised, oh, you're the same person. Yeah. And now she can kind of talk about everything. But yeah, I think that 2 social media accounts, 2 different names. And then her author name isn't her actual name, even though one of the first names is the same. So that was kind of, so she answers to a lot of things.
Yeah.
She's quite flexible. And it's Sam Holland and Louisa Scar is the person I'm talking about. So her books are,
I didn't even know they were the same person.
Yeah. And her actual surname isn't the same. So, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We've had fun with those conversations because I didn't realise until I saw her on a panel at an event in London last year. And I was like, but you're under this name, but I was sure you, and she explained, and she kind of giggled and explained. I was like, right, okay, thank you. She wasn't offended at all that I was really confused. But imagine meeting somebody in the middle of a field and you're like, but who, what? And then she had to kind of go through the details. Leslie said she couldn't switch between books. It would crack her up. A poor brain would never cope. Did it take some getting used to?
Yeah, it does. Especially because Lily and Honey and Louis, they're so lovely, and it's not that dark, and everything's a bit glamorous and fun. And then with The Day She Disappeared, I mean, it's set on an island, and it's about a woman who returns back to the island after her mother dies. But the reason that she left the island when she was 17 was because some bad stuff went down. And when she gets to the island, there's missing girls, and it's quite dark. It's quite dark. So it was quite difficult to go back into that one, but it made it nicer going back into to Honey and Lily's little world. So
I'm going to mention one scene from this it was kind of right near the beginning, so it's not like it's not a plot thing. It was just, it really made me laugh. This moment of panic where Lily, she's a not a chambermaid. What's her job at the hotel?
She's a housekeeper.
Yeah.
You know, it is a chambermaid.
It is a chambermaid. Yeah, I don't know why I'm correcting myself. I'm second guessing myself. But so she's kind of been. She wants this job in Hollywood. She wants this kind of life that she, you know, works towards getting. But she's been at this hotel for 8 months, and then she suddenly just randomly gets offered this opportunity because she defends Honey. And then there's this scene where she's like, I need some clothes. What do I do? And it really made me laugh that she walks into the hotel and Honey's like, oh, I've got a shirt like that. Lisa, tell everyone where she got the clothes from.
She nicked the clothes. What would you do?
Honestly, I was roaring, laughing.
So there is probably a 90% chance that is actually Honey's blouse.
Really, you know, when something really makes me laugh, and like there's a guy trying to go into the laundry room, and she's like, tells him 2 minutes, top secret guest, you know how it is, and pushes the door closed in his face and finds something to wear.
A lot that day, a lot.
It just really made me laugh because I was like, you know, I wonder something. This shirt is like, she really loves this shirt and it's perfect. What's going to happen here? And then she walks in and it's like, oh, I've got one of them. It just really made me howl laughing. It really did. Right, let me go back to these questions. So Donna's saying she's so over authors with pen names, it's confusing.
No, well, it is. And half the time we don't even know that people that we know, writers that we know, we don't even know that it's them under the pen name. I mean, a book came out, you guys have probably seen it, by Sam Ripley. I was like, who's this guy, Sam Ripley? Why is he following me on Twitter? And then it was Tom Wood.
Yeah.
I've known for a long time. And I was like, oh, it's Tom.
Yeah. I met him in London recently, and that's when I found out the dual names. Again, in person at an event, that's when I found out, face to face with them. So yeah. I was like, right, okay. I think different name works well with different genres, says Leslie. It's okay knowing it's the same person, but you can instantly know the genre of the book, which is true.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. And I think maybe if it had turned out to be more of a romance novel or something like that, then maybe I would have had to use a pen name. But I'm quite pleased that I do.
Do you fancy doing romance?
No, because my dad reads my books, and I don't think I could put like willies in it and stuff. If my dad reads it, I'd be mortified. In The Perfect Couple, my editor came back and she was like, you need to ramp it up a bit. And I was like, okay. So I did. They did have to do it. But I kind of just threw the book at my dad and was like, there you go. There's your copy. And he never said a word. So
you could always stick a Post-it note over that bit.
Yeah,
just literally like sex scene, visit at your peril.
Go to the next page, skip.
Yeah,
Dad, don't read it.
It is suddenly starting to go dark where you are.
Do you want me to try that light?
Should we try the light again? I'll tell everyone what happened before. The light looked like it was a lightsaber trying to slice Lisa in half. So we turned it off. I say we, the royal we. There's the lightsaber light. So we'll just see what happens.
You know what? I'm going to move. I'm going to put my cardio on, and I'm just going to move across the way to the sofa.
You might be okay once you sit down. You never know. Just make sure you can reach your plug. I'm sure we can cope with a bit of light as long as we can see you. It does seem to follow you. Yeah, I can see you now. But it does seem to follow you wherever you go. It's very, I don't know what it's reflecting off.
It's Honey's ghost.
It's Honey's ghost. She's come to make sure that you're actually going to keep writing. Donna's saying she didn't know Lee Russell was nothing like her own real name. Nope, neither did I.
No, nor did I.
Sarah Blackburn, hi Sarah, saying she remembers at Harrogate that someone explained one author she was talking to was his pen name and not the original name. Yeah, there's and Donna's saying Chris MacDonald and Rob Scragg recently. So Chris MacDonald is writing under Chris Frost and Rob Scragg is writing under Robert Rutherford. So there we go. It's it does get confusing, and must be a lot more work when you come to social media and you've got very different personas for the two profiles. It's hard enough doing one, I imagine.
Yeah, I think I probably would have had a mental breakdown because I'm a bit rubbish at social media. I tend to do fits and starts. So when there's things happening, like there's cover reveals and blog tours and stuff, there's lots of lovely things, but I had a long period where I was writing both the books where there was nothing happening. Like, it's just my dog. I would just post pictures of my dog.
I think that's okay with readers though.
Yeah, I don't like to keep my social media all books and all work stuff. Because I'm nosy. I'm a nosy person. So I like to see other writers, or just general people in general. I just like to see. I want to see what your kitchen looks like, and I want to see what you're having for dinner, and I definitely want to see videos of your dog. So I do try and like put a few bits out there so people can see.
If you're ever going down kind of a procrastination rabbit hole, what kind of videos are you watching online?
Oh my God. So my TikTok obsessions at the moment are videos of the Taylor Swift Eras tour. Oh my God, it's amazing. And there's this woman.
Now you've said that, I've realised how many of them I've seen that I hadn't realised that I'd seen until you just said it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's the same clips over and over and over, just from different cities, but I don't care because it's all sparkly. And also there's this woman who she lives in the Appalachian Mountains. Ooh. And she tells all these stories about legends of like monsters. There's things like if you're in the woods in the Appalachian Mountains and you hear someone call your name, you shouldn't turn around because like the wicked spirits are going to get you and all this. So she has all these things and like all these weird herbal remedies that I will never ever make for anybody, but I feel like I need to know about them.
My recent one is the gardening videos. So there's like a guy that goes around there's several of them, but they go around and they might see one overgrown garden on the street. So they knock on the door and say, "Can I do it for free?" And then they do a time-lapse video. Mate, honestly.
My phone is right here and I'm going to put TikTok on in a minute and it's going to be all gardening videos because it listens to you.
The other ones have been like the picture of the penguins with their arms around each other. Every time I come past that, I just sit and look at that for a while. It's not even a video.
And there's a guy that does like dogs. I love dogs. He does these like dog videos and the dogs will be like, I don't know, doing whatever they're doing. But he puts like a commentary soundtrack thing to him of like what's going through the dog's head. And they're hilarious. To me, anyway.
Yeah, Donna's saying, "OMG, I've seen those. Which ones? Have you just seen everything that we've seen, Donna? What have you been watching?" You were saying before we went live that this is the first interview you've done for this book, which I'm absolutely thrilled that we've got you for this. And you were supposed to have Kaz, but she had a conflict of times for tonight, so I got you instead. And Kaz, I'll send her a picture of that in a bit, or somebody else will. Oh, I've just spotted the cover in the background. I don't know what I was about to ask, but then this glistened behind me. So, oh my word. I mean, look, it's glitter. It's almost glittery.
Honestly,
it's so beautiful.
The most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Don't tell my kids I said that.
You did say thing, to be fair. So
thing. Yeah, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
So I think it's okay that you're not calling them things at this moment.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Well, they mentioned the gold foil in the very initial meetings. The publisher said, "Oh, I could see that with gold foil," and I was like, But in publishing, you very often get promised things and you don't see them. So I kind of forgot about it, but not, if you know what I mean. And then when the box came, did do a tiny cry because it's so beautiful.
It is gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. You kind of know what you're getting just from the cover, which is the dream, isn't it? You want the cover to scream what the book's going to be about, and this one really does. It's all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I'm so pleased with it. So pleased with it. I couldn't have asked for a better team, honestly.
Did you do an unboxing video for it?
No, I was too excited.
Tore it open.
I've got a Ring doorbell, and I was out with my daughter, and I saw the guy leave the box, and I was like, "Do you think that looks like books?" She was like, "I don't know." Then my son came home, and I rang him, and I was like, "Does it feel like books?" He went, "Well, it's not that heavy." And I was like, "It's not books." And then, so by the time I got home, I was just like, ripped it open. Like, oh, it is books, but I literally shredded the box, so there was no way I could do like a fake. Oh, surprise!
Could you not like turned it upside down and done it from underneath?
I should have done. I should have. Where were you on that day?
I'm full of good ideas when I'm not around. Loads of them. Sarah normally asks about, so I can feel it coming. Where do you keep track of your ideas in a notebook and things like that?
I have got a page in the notes on my phone, and there's some really random stuff in there. So I might just have one initial flash, like an initial thought, and it won't come to anything, but it will still be in my phone. There is a note in my phone that says, "Could you kill someone with a pint glass?" Which I think you probably could.
I reckon you could.
I think you could. But obviously nothing came of that because it's not really a story and there's nothing there. But I do, if I keep coming back to something, I will do a separate page initially in my notes and start jotting things down. And then I do have an entire drawer full of the books as I go through, because I like to handwrite my chapter before I type it. So I have one of those with all printouts and my cards that I put on the wall, everything for all the books. So when I die, my kids are going to have a field day getting rid of all that.
I've currently got a box of notes. I try and lift it, but I don't have good luck when I try and move things when I'm on camera. And it's quite tidy in here at the minute. You can even actually see my desk. We'll see how long that lasts for.
Very impressive.
But I've started putting all my notebooks in one tub. It's my son's Christmas Eve box. We'd never done Christmas Eve boxes till last year, and we decided we'd kind of make a day of it, knowing they're all getting older and everyone's going to start disappearing at some point. So he was like, all the other kids have kept theirs, and he was like, no, I'm good. So I was like, can I have it for my notebooks? So they're actually organised, which is really helpful when I'm looking for anything that I've written, because I do this thing where I'll start with one page in a new notebook, and then I think that's all I'm using this notebook for, just this thing. And then eventually I'll have all sorts in it, and I won't remember which one I've used because I've done it with about 7 at once. So there's no rhyme or reason to the nonsense of my office, but it's looking a little tidier, so it's good. I really want to talk about the costumes, or not costumes, the outfits. And there was a comment that made me smile, that was, Lily's looking at people's outfits and she's kind of longing for them and thinking, you know, in her day, in 2019, these would be seen as vintage. And then she looks down, she's like, oh, I'm actually wearing one. Yeah. It's kind of this amazing thing. Did you go and see some kind of outfits? Did you go vintage shopping? Did you research online? How did you get into the kind of outfits of it?
It was mostly online. There's so much stuff out there. It's unreal. And I found that a lot of online shops, you know, like Shein, everyone loves Shein, that kind of thing. They all do like this replica stuff. So I've got my book launch next week, and I have actually bought the dress that Lily wears to Honey's birthday party. I have got the dress. I'm wearing the sparkly rose gold heels. I am wearing those to the party, which is really exciting.
I need to see a photo of this when it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. But I have set up a Pinterest board, and there is a Pinterest board called, I think it has been, because the original title was Whatever Happened to Honey Black. So it's either called that still, or The Mysterious Double Death of Honey Black. And all the photos that I found, like the outfits that people wear. I mean, I think Jessica wears like a navy dress at one point, and that dress is on my Pinterest board. I found it online, the description, everything. These are all the outfits of clothes that have existed in some form or another in the world for reals. So I did fall down a few rabbit holes there. I was gone for quite a while.
I love the idea of all of this glamour, but I generally live in jeans. I'm not sure I could really summon up the energy for it.
Well, you can't see that I am actually wearing a pair of shorts from Primark that are literally joggers with the legs cut off. So.
I've got kind of I've put a scarf and cardigan on over a dress that I wouldn't be seeing out in person in. But it's really comfy. This is the thing. I think I've always been a bit kind of love the idea of things, but I'm very much comfort. If I'm not comfy, I'm grumpy, and there's no point in that.
I'm more than happy to dress up in Lily's outfit for one night for like 4 hours, but day to day, joggers all the way.
Are we talking Converse on your feet, or are we going with actual of the moment shoes?
Converse make my feet ache, so I'm not a Converse. My kids are mad for Converse, but I am a Nike girl. I have got about 17 pairs of Nike trainers, and I will buy more because you can never have too many. My husband hates it. He's like, for God's sake, but they're comfy. And I have a pair of Doc Marten boots that I bought on a trip abroad, and they're not your stereotypical Doc Martens. They're brown and they're sheepskin lined and they're really soft leather, and I didn't even have to break them in. And they are pretty hideous now. Like the backs have worn down a bit and they were a bit gross and they stink. But I wait for that weather to change and those boots are coming out.
I've never talked shoes and clothes with anyone, I don't think, in one of these before, but everyone's agreeing they either don't like Converse or they like to be comfortable, and I'm Psychic Sam. I saw Sarah's name and I thought of the question that she often asks. It's one that I used to ask ages ago, and then I've not really asked it for a while. But Sarah wouldn't know that because she wouldn't have watched the interviews back when I was asking that question. So Sarah's saying her back when she was waitressing and bar work, Docs were comfy shoes for standing around in.
Yeah, definitely. These ones are the dream. I bought them in Brooklyn and I'd been out all day and my actual Nikes were hurting my feet. And I went in this little Doc Marten shop and I saw them and I was like, I love them. They're so ugly. I love them. And they're all fur lined and bouncy inside. And it was like walking home on a cloud. And now they're gross, but I'm never going to throw them away ever.
Don't blame you. We should actually talk about your launch. So tell us what your plans are.
Well, I haven't had a launch for a really long time. So I'm just having drinks in the Fifth View in the bar at Waterstones Piccadilly. So, and it's on Thursday next week and it's from 6:30 till 8:30. So if anybody is in town, please pop in and have a drink because it'll be lovely to see you. And I'll be in Lily's outfit.
I
probably won't have the shoes on.
That's anyone who's been watching the interview, you'll know, because they'll just be like sneakily glancing at your feet.
Yeah.
Or if it's Donna demanding to see what shoes you've got on. So you've not have you not had launches because we've kind of obviously everything that was going on in the world, or is it just not something that's come up?
I had one for my first book and I had one for my second book and it was amazing. And then the third book, I don't know why I didn't have a launch for my third book. I've celebrated, And then the fourth book, it was the World Cup in Russia. And my husband went to Russia to watch the World Cup.
As one does.
Yeah. And it was a really spur of the moment thing. He was like, by the way, I'm going to Russia tomorrow. And I was like, Okay. So I kind of just normally just go for dinner. My friend that I actually went to Hollywood with, I dedicated the book to my dog and to her. Equally joint creds. She has been at every launch, every dinner. She's just there. My lovely Karen, she's there all the time. So yeah, usually it's just we go for dinner out somewhere and drink too much wine, come home.
Sounds heavenly. Can't drink wine. I like wine. It does not
That's
like
the problem.
me. Right, Donna's saying, I literally didn't know you even owned a dress, Sam, so I've learned a lot today. It's quite a long dress. Let me see if I can. This is why you won't see it. It's like,
well, I see you
so
coming. It's lovely.
Oh, you'd see me coming from the moon. Yeah, it's really, really comfy. But I was we were just having tea and getting ready and things. And then I was like, really don't want to put my jeans on. I'm a bit warm. I'll just stick a cardi and a scarf on. This used to be my go-to outfit all the time. So whatever I was wearing, I used to just shove a cardigan and this scarf on over what I was wearing. And then it's been too warm. You just can't. There's just no way.
I'm over it. Honestly, I am a pumpkin head. I'm here for chilly mornings, my boots, a nice chunky jumper, pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. I'm ready.
We need to go back to books, really, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Probably should. So you've got book 2, you're working on that. Do you know how many books there might be in the series, or do you have to kind of wait and see what's commissioned? Or
I think they will probably want to see how well they do, see if they sell well enough to justify a third book. And obviously I have to think of a third idea if they want a third book. So if anybody's got any ideas, hit me up.
We'll go for wine, we'll have a chat, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Come up with all sorts.
That's how all good books get written.
I can't believe I just showed a bit of my dress. This is the thing, when you know people in real life and you're kind of chatting away, I need to just I need to stop it. Have you been to other people's launches as well?
Yes. Yeah. The last one I went to was Sam Ripley's, aka Tom Woods. That was the last one I went to, which was lovely. That was in I think it was in Covent Garden. Yeah, I've been to a few, and they're always lovely because, especially since COVID, because we all kind of tend to just sit in our rooms and write our books and not go anywhere. And then we get together at festivals, and sometimes, especially with COVID, the festivals came back, but launches didn't really come back for quite a while. I would say Tom's was the first one that I've been to for ages where everyone was there. So that was really nice to see everyone and have a drink and catch up.
What about the things that people were doing online to keep in touch with other authors? Did you have kind of author friends that you were talking to throughout the pandemic and giving each other that bit of support?
Yeah, we all kind of sort of DM each other, and especially when there were still books coming out, but you couldn't celebrate it. So it was there's lots of messages flying around like, congratulations, really excited for you. And I've got two writer friends that are my guys, and even through the pandemic they couldn't get rid of me. So we talk generally about everything, not just about books, but it was a difficult time for everyone, I think. Really difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Donna's still in a work uniform. Leslie wants to know what great books you've read recently. And I always want to know if you can read crime while you're writing crime.
Yeah, I do still read crime. But obviously if I'm writing about a missing child, I try not to read a book about a missing child. I read a different kind of book. I've read 2 brilliant books. I read The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis. He wrote American Psycho.
Right, I've not read that.
It's only just come out in paperback, but I don't think it is even paperback. It might be hardback. But I bought it at the airport, so it was like a nice paperback airport copy because I'm not a big hardback girl. and it's set in the 80s, and the way it's written, basically these women are being murdered, these girls are being murdered, and the main character, Brett, so you kind of think, oh, he's written it almost sort of autobiographical, but it's not. I don't think it is fiction. But he becomes convinced that this guy that he knows is behind it all, and that's really good, really cleverly written. It's not gory like American Psycho story.
Yeah.
And I just finished Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult, and that was really good.
Oh, I'm writing these down, by the way. Oh, that's a brilliant question, Donna. What's been your biggest pinch me moment since you became an author? Have you rephrased my memorable moment as an author question, Donna Morfitt?
It's a good question. Do you know what? There's been so many, because the first book I wrote it and I thought that my husband would read it and my mum would read it and my dad, and that would be it. So the fact that the day that I got the phone call about that was, but probably one of my best is I was at a festival. I was at Crime Fest, and Robert Thorogood, he is the writer of Death in Paradise, and he's written like the Death in Paradise novels, and then obviously there's the TV show, and then there's like these Marlowe Murder Club things that he's written since. But I love Death in Paradise. Me and my brother-in-law, we love it. Love. And he was at this festival, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hi Lisa, how are you?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." So that was pretty big pinch me moment.
I love that.
He was so nice, so I was so happy.
Have you fangirled and made a fool of yourself yet? Because I feel like that is a rite of passage for anyone in the book world.
Oh yeah, probably. I don't know. It's really hard because I think I was very excited in the beginning, and I've never told her this, and she'll probably laugh in my face the next time I see her. I was very excited the first time I met Callie Taylor, because I'd read her book, and now she's my friend, and I feel weird saying that. But I had read her book and I really, really loved it. Her first book, The Accident. And then I met her and she was so nice. And now we're good friends and it's all lovely. But yeah, I probably did fangirl a bit. I would fangirl over Stephen King as well. I think everyone would.
One of the first interviews I did, she might have been my first interview that we did for the book club, because we started the interviews when the founder said, right, there's going to be no events for authors, we need to do something, and told my best mate Kaz, who's his daughter, right, think of something. And then William Shaw helped us with the software, and we came up with these interviews, live ones, because Kaz used to do just typed ones, but Facebook was always kicking people out for spamming because they were answering the questions on their own chat and then couldn't do it. So I've interviewed Kelly a few times now, and I've just recently been able to interview her at an event in London. And I was so kind of sick and anxious with nerves. No matter how many of these I've done, I was on a stage with her, and with Susie Holiday, Olivia Kernan, and Katharina Diamond as well. The books are right above my head.
And they're a lovely bunch.
They were brilliant and they were hilarious. But we sat down and Kelly said to me, I started off with the question, and Kelly looked at me, she went, "Do you think we need to introduce ourselves, Sam?" I was like, yeah, okay. And then I was fine. I'd put my foot in my mouth. I was absolutely fine. And they were fantastic. You must have such a laugh.
Yeah, we do. Everyone is so lovely. And I mean, Kat Diamond is, oh my God, she makes me die laughing. Yeah. She's so funny. And it's almost like she doesn't even know that she's funny, but she is hilarious. She's absolutely hilarious. And Susie's lovely. Yeah. I mean, everyone, I don't think there's anyone at all that I think, oh.
No, we're in the best world. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and everyone's really so supportive. It's lovely.
There's a question here, and I'm going to ask, but I don't know if you can even answer it. Do you have a favourite author? Sarah said. I think that's an impossible question.
Yeah. Do you know what? I have people that I buy without reading the blurb.
Yeah.
So if that counts as a favourite, then I've got
Yeah,
a lot.
definitely.
I've got a lot. Like Callie is one of those.
Yeah, Kaz calls them the shut up and take my money authors.
Yeah, I've got quite a few of those that I think
gets expensive, doesn't it?
Oh my God, I'm so poor all the time. So poor. And there's just books everywhere. You can't, this is quite a terrible place for me to sit because you can't see.
You can't see a fraction of my books. There's not, no, this is not a lot of them.
There's that one there that's crammed. And then I don't want to whiz you around too fast and make people feel sick. And then there's another one over there that's crammed. And then there's stacks by the bed.
I've got stacks of books everywhere as well. It's ridiculous. It's the best kind of ridiculous, though. If I ever need to build a fort to live in, I could.
Awesome. A massive castle.
Donna's saying, Rob is such a cutie. Oh, so we're going back to Robert Scragg. I was thinking Rob. I know several Robs. She'd seen a previous panel before at Crime Fest. Everyone recognises her because she's got pink hair.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, bright pink hair. So you can't miss her. You just can't miss her. It's really good. What other festivals have you done? So you've done Crime Fest. Are you doing Bloody Scotland?
No, I've never done Bloody Scotland.
I've not. I was going to go this year, but it'll be next year now.
Yeah, I did Capital Crime the other day.
Oh, Rob Thorogood. Sorry, Donna.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I got to see there's so many Robs and they're all great. So go on. You did Capital Crime.
Yeah, I did Capital Crime the other day. I've been to Harrogate.
I don't know how we missed each other, but...
Oh, were you there? Oh, do you know what? I feel like I didn't see anybody.
I saw everyone and no one all at once.
Yeah. I've been to Harrogate and I've done the author dinner at Harrogate twice, and we were terrible both times. We didn't, it's like a murder mystery dinner thing. Twice we didn't get any of it right. So if I ever do that again, please pray you're not on my table because you will lose. And then I did Thriller Fest in New York a couple of times. Nice. And that's really good. Yeah, so I've done a few.
My team came last at Capital Crime Quiz. We wrote Poirot, I think, 7 times. Nobody wrote Poirot as many times as us. Anywhere there was a gap, it said Poirot. I think it was 7 times. Yeah, we were dreadful. Mike Craven's team came second. He was probably insufferable all night about it. We have got 4 minutes left. Would you like to give us a recap of, should we go with the thrillers and then I'll show this book? And you've got a copy actually as well, haven't you?
I have got a copy of Honey. You're going to make me do it again, aren't you? And I'm like,
yeah, we need to know what people want to go and buy.
Yeah, please buy. Oh, look, I can't. Please buy it because I need to go to Vegas now. Okay, so my thrillers are Between You and Me, Tell Me No Lies, The Party, Have You Seen Her, The Perfect Couple, and The Woman in the Woods.
Well done.
I was sweating a bit there. And then this is out on Thursday, and The Day She Disappeared, which I do have a copy somewhere but not in front of me. That's out on the 10th of October.
So, sorry, say again. So publication day for Honey Black is
21st, next Thursday.
21st. And we've already established before we went live that I have no idea what day and date I'm on. Not a clue. We've got 2 minutes left. So I'm going to ask you one of my favourite questions, which I love to ask. Have you acted out any of the scenes to check that they work? So there's some scenes that are a little bit hands-on. Did you have a little practice with anyone?
No, I didn't have a practice, but what I have done, and I've never, ever told anybody this, for this book, to get the dialogue right, I did read the dialogue aloud in character with accents.
Nice.
It was pretty bad.
Well, because it clearly worked.
I'm going to have to do it for every book now.
Probably. I think a lot of people do read sections out, though, because it's the only way you pick up where it gets a bit clunky.
I would normally do it sort of at proofreading stage, you know, like you've gone through line edits, you've gone through copy edits, and then it's just that last final stage.
Yeah.
You go through with a ruler and make sure, and then I'd read it aloud. But with this, I kind of had to do the accent, make sure it worked.
I'm not going to ask you to do them, don't worry, but were you really bad at the accents?
Really bad.
I'd be
really
dreadful.
Bad. I think I veered towards African, to be fair, rather than American.
No, I can't think. I can barely do a Mancunian accent, to be honest. So no, I would be dreadful. Sarah was saying she didn't see you at Harrogate. Oh, Sarah, you know Harrogate's a blur. I don't even remember half the people I spoke to at Harrogate. It was just manic. Leslie said it's been a really fun interview. She'll look for the October book on NetGalley.
Thank you, Leslie.
And that's a real privilege from Leslie as well, because as I said, she's always really honest. But if she's read a book from you before and she'll go back to NetGalley, it's because she knows she really enjoyed it. Otherwise, she wouldn't go and get another one. She'd leave it for somebody else to get it. So yeah, full of compliments, which is lovely. Yes, Sarah, I remember talking with you as well at Harrogate, and we've spoken in various other places. She came to our live event in Leeds last year. Sarah is a lovely friend and a really big supporter of the book club and the authors, so it's really nice when we get to see each other. And she said this has been really enjoyable. Thank you. So thank you to everyone who's joined in, and thank you to you. What a great hour this has been. I've just enjoyed myself so much, and best of luck next week with release day. Put my teeth back in.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been so fun. For the first kind of promo thing I've had to do, it has been absolutely brilliant fun.